Happening now, flooding concerns are taking shape as heavy rain impacts our region. We have live team coverage from area creeks as the water level rises. And with all the rain and warm temperatures, those behind this year's ice castle in Mayville are taking steps to save the structure. Plus, baiting deer and hunting out of season, just some of the charges lodged against a man in the town of Minot.
Live and on demand, this is WNY News Now. This is WNY News Now with live breaking news.
Ice jams are expected to cause some flooding in area creeks in parts of western New York. Thank you for joining us for WNY News Now. I'm Justin Gould, and we start with breaking news. The National Weather Service in Buffalo has issued a flood warning for parts of Chautauqua, Cattaraugus, and Erie counties this morning at about 8:30. Specifically, officials say that ice is beginning to break up on creeks flowing into Silver Creek. That ice is flowing from Silver Creek and Walnut Creek and nearby Canandaigua Creek in Fredonia. Our Bronson Rasmussen spent the morning in Silver Creek keeping an eye on area waterways.
Justin, right along the Cattaraugus Creek, right where it meets Lake Erie, we have seen the water levels rising. We have heard that this is because the ice jams farther up. The ice is melting and is causing more water to be in the area. According to the National Weather Service, this is a common occurrence for the area. At least this time, though, residents have time to prepare.
Flood warning you're referring to is targeting the Silver Creek area and Sunset Bay. That area is a frequent place where you get ice jam flooding. You get water coming down Cattaraugus Creek. It tries to go out into Lake Erie and is met by the lake ice and additional ice that's flowing down the creek. So that warning is in regards mainly to that.
Since earlier this morning, there has been a flood warning for the area. All eyes are on this water level, and if it goes up even more, residents in the area may have to evacuate. We will update you with anything that comes up with this situation. Reporting in Silver Creek, Bronson Rasmussen, WNY News Now.
Bronson, thank you very much for that. And as we have just mentioned, we do have this flood warning that is in place for Chautauqua and Cattaraugus counties. And again, it's going to be for that ice jam flooding as the ice breaks apart. But we still do have this flood watch in effect for all of the region. And again, you know, this is what's called a hydrograph. It basically shows you water level. And right now, the water level on the Allegheny River in Salamanca is 4.1 feet. It is forecast to crest at 13.9, just a little bit below moderate flood stage, and then it will ultimately start to recede as we go into the weekend. So this is going to be the main problem. And obviously with the snow and ice melt, and then we're going to add rain on top of it. So the NOAA Weather Prediction Center does maintain that slight risk, a level 2 out of 4 for some flooding through the afternoon hours. Again, this is very similar to the severe weather outlook that we show, but this shows the potential for flooding. There's a lot of products that the Weather Service issues, believe it or not. So here's the newest look of the radar showing you that we do have a little bit of a break, look like starting to creep into Erie County, Pennsylvania. This is going to come in, so we are going to see a little bit of a break in the rain coverage, but the rain is going to continue through the afternoon. So there it is, some localized flooding likely. Temperatures drop through the day. The high today was 51. We'll drop to around 40 here in the city by the end of the day, but at least it won't be windy. Now, beyond this, we go from fall or spring right back to winter. Once again, we've got snow in the forecast. We'll talk about it with that Ultimate Satellite Solutions 7-day forecast later on in the show. Justin.
All right, Dakota, thank you for that. And of course, as you mentioned, that changeover to snow is going to be a big one that a lot of people will need to pay attention to tonight. We'll see you back in just a bit. Now, among those tracking the flooding concerns today is Chautauqua County Executive P.J. Wendell, who joins us live now in studio. Thank you so much for coming in today, sir. Now, first, I want to get the latest from you on where things are standing right now in Chautauqua County as we do get ready to deal with these heavy rains that are expected this afternoon and the subsequent snowmelt as well.
Well, first thing this morning, there was an alert issued for possible evacuation at Silver Creek due to flooding concerns. I know our crews, along with those from Silver Creek, were on location, making sure that everything was working properly. The ice jam did break. It started to flow, and the water's flowing as it should right now. Walnut Creek, down into Silver Creek, and into Lake Erie. Reached out to people in Sunset Bay. They're monitoring the situation as well. So we want all of our residents to realize we are, the towns, villages, and the county are working together to mitigate this problem. But right now, we're at the mercy of Mother Nature. We do have a lot of rain coming. With that break, as you mentioned in the forecast, should give us some time to take a deep breath here and evaluate situations. But all in all, we've worked together as we always have in these situations, and now we're just it's a wait and see approach to make sure that if the flooding, we start to see those ice jams break up, we will have equipment in place to break it up and get the water flowing.
Yeah, and I know that's a big problem, as you mentioned, for those in the North County living along rivers that flow into Lake Erie. For some, it seems like they've been dealing with this problem over and over again anytime that we have a big melt. Is there anything in your experience or that the county would want to see done to maybe try to help alleviate some of these issues that seems to be seasonal, where we have these flood emergencies in many cases because of the ice?
Well, certainly. One of the things we talked about this morning with the town supervisor, highway supervisor in the Sunset Bay area is there a project we could undertake, would have to take federal and state monies to assure these don't happen. Again, if you're up along the Lake Erie shoreline, the last 3 years we've dealt with significant weather patterns and weather situations. The word SAISH has been brought to mind several times. So the crews are incredible. They know what to do, very proactive. They began mustering last evening, started getting equipment ready. First thing, once the rain started, the thaw started, they were on hand, making sure everything was taken care of. These things are things that the highway departments in the county as well. We maintain our creeks and waterways to make sure that we don't have this flooding. But everybody we like ice for ice fishing. Well, that ice jams and the water doesn't flow, so it all plays into it. Sometimes things work very well. Sometimes we get caught. But hats off to our crews, our road crews in the towns, villages, and our county, doing a tremendous job right now, and they're the experts. I touch base with them, ask what we can do to help and assist, but they know how to do it, so I get out of the way and let them do their work.
Does this go back to dredging at all, and does that play a part? I know a lot of times they say if you can kind of prepare the river for winter, in many cases the ice could flow better.
I know there are some areas where we talked about, especially Silver Creek in the mouth as it goes into Lake Erie, but people say it's just not as easy as getting in there and digging out. You have to have permits. You have to make sure you don't disturb certain levels of the bottom. So it's more complicated than just going in and digging out. But our crews do have the necessary permits needed. But really, what they're asking, I spoke with Mr. Pelletier this morning, the Sunset Bay. The concern is, what can we do to prevent this from being an annual occurrence? It seems that these seiches or drastic thaws and rain and flooding is becoming more and more of a continuum in certain areas. So what can we do? And these are big projects that involve not only Chautauqua County, but they involve the state, they involve U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. So we're working in concert right now with the Army Corps and other projects. We're going to continue. So again, we are contacting state and federal officials and asking for help. But it's a big project. It is going to be have a large dollar amount to it should those projects start to get underway.
Yeah. And I know in addition to the flooding, obviously the rain coming down causing issues, and I hear that we're having problems at the county building today. What is the situation there?
We lost power in the Jurassic office building right in the middle of our audit and control committee meeting. So if you were live streaming that, that was the reason for the feed to go down. As I was out driving, I found, actually on our way here with another stop, we found that the reason for the water, the power outage was water actually leaking in at a heavy amount into our electrical sub-panels in the basement of the Jurassic office building. So those employees at the Jurassic office building were sent home. The power was shut off to the building. We do have crews there assessing the situation. It looks like there's going to be some extensive work to make the situation correct, but it's still too early to determine. I know my staff is on hand, doing a great job keeping me informed, but as of right now, Jurassic office building is been closed along with the courthouse. So we ask people, if you do have events there, to please contact your designated offices to find out what the status is. I don't know exactly what things were relocated, right. But I know we've had some meetings. They've all been canceled in the Jurassic office building for today. And
finally here, I know that the flooding isn't just up to that northern part of the county, but a flood watch in effect for all of our area. You are an active volunteer firefighter in Lakewood. What are some of the things that you'd be looking out for tonight? Call-wise, do you expect? And finally, we hear this all the time, turn around, don't drown. How crucial is that message for people to stay safe throughout the evening as water rises?
Well, that's the big thing. We don't have too many issues, in the village of Lakewood, but there are certain, in our fire district, there's certain areas right now that, I'm sure our road crews are out in the town of Busti. We know the back corner of the mall parking lot tends to be a large lake. I've seen cars floating across, the water at certain times. Different areas. I know, personally, my house, I check the basement. We ask everyone, check your basements as, the water does start to, with the ice there, the water isn't able to get in and saturate the ground. So it might get on top of that ice and flow into, a window or a crack in the foundation or anything. So again, beware, be clear, what the status of your own home is, but don't venture into creeks or any type of waterways you're not 100% sure of. If you notice the water start to rise, evacuate, reach out to, whether it's the fire department, police agencies, let people know if you have issues. But please try not to, if you have large amounts of water, please not try to tackle it yourself. Ask for help. And, our fire departments have been very easy to help people. And it's one of the things we do. Many people are trained in, water rescue, cold water rescue. Right now, as I was driving here from the airport, there was a lot of road on the shoulders, which is going to happen when these ditches overflow because there's ice and snow. So this is Mother Nature. Unfortunately, Western New York, this is the downside of everything we hope for in snow and ice. So.
Right, and a lot of times those flooded basements, as you mentioned there, fire crews can come and assist in that, and definitely you got to be mindful of where your power boxes are too. I think an important point, because you don't want that water level to rise beyond that.
Certainly, Justin. But I can remember an issue years ago where the power for an apartment complex was underground, and the water was leaking in and basically had energized. It was so much that the water inside was probably about 3 or 4 feet deep, was actually creating steam. It was like a giant sauna. We were told by National Grid, had anybody gone into that basement, would have been electrocuted by 8 services from homes going into that water. So yes, if your electrical service is in the basement and it starts to get up to that electric service box, it's best you call for help and keep an eye on it. Most people know what happens and how high the water comes. So we asked residents and neighbors to check on one another, but also check your surroundings, your homes, and make sure that the water isn't starting to come in.
Absolutely. Chautauqua County Executive P.J. Wendell joining us live today, sir. Thank you very much for coming in. As we continue this half hour, we're taking a look at the effort which is now underway amid all of this melting to save this year's ice castle, a process to preserve as we continue. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
With coverage that matters, this is WNY News Now.
Welcome to Honest John's Pizzeria, where you are the most important customer.
Everything from freshly made subs to the best of pizza and wings, Honest John's has it all.
And don't forget the ice cream!
Order online today or check out our 2 great locations with buffets ready for every appetite.
Don't I have the best job in the world?
You're gonna get it good at Honest John's.
Now is the time to make your real estate move. Call us to list your home in Cattaraugus County. Choose the #1 real estate team in Ellicottville. Call Team Pritchard, 716-575-SELL. The market is hot. Call 716-575-SELL today.
EagleZip.com is your local one-stop shop for all of your home and business computer needs. Located on Fluvan Avenue Extension, just outside of Jamestown, EagleZip.com sells and services all brands of desktops and laptops, as well as servers and network equipment for your business. All new computer sales include transferring your data from your old computer plus a 2-year warranty. Call EagleZip.com today.
Stop by EagleZip.com today and let us make computers easy for you.
Home fires occur most often in winter. Keep anything that can catch fire at least 3 feet from heating equipment. And never use an oven to heat your home. Stay in the kitchen when frying, grilling, or broiling food. Turn space heaters off when you leave the room or go to bed. Make sure all vents are clear of snow and ice to allow carbon monoxide to vent outside. Have your furnace, heating system, and chimneys serviced each year by a qualified professional. Learn more at www.usfa.fema.gov.
Brought to you by the Chautauqua Safety Village and the Jamestown Fire Department.
You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
A 23-year-old Fredonia man is facing charges in connection with the alleged rape of a juvenile. The Chautauqua County Sheriff's Office has charged Jay Carey with third-degree rape, 2 counts of third-degree criminal sexual act, and endangering the welfare of a child. This followed an investigation where deputies say the alleged crime took place in 2020. Carey was arrested yesterday following arraignment and released. He's scheduled to appear in court at a later date. No further details of that incident were released. Dunkirk Police has issued a warning about a new online scam. The law enforcement agency says a buyer tried to overpay for items worth only a few $100s to a resident selling on Craigslist. That resident telling police a woman named Edith agreed to make online purchases for $500 plus a $70 moving charge. The woman then sent the resident a check of almost $3,000 via U.S. mail. When the resident contacted Edith back, noting the overpayment, the buyer requested the resident just to cash the check and send the extra money along with the shipment. The seller, police say, noticed something was astray and contacted their bank, who ultimately said it was indeed a scam. And a hunter is accused of baiting deer in Chautauqua County. This week, New York State's DEC forest rangers say they found a baited tree stand a short distance from a permitted hunting area in the town of Mina. Rangers spotted a hunter walking across a field dressed in camo and carrying a crossbow. The man climbed into a tree stand where the baiting was located. Following questioning, he was charged with several crimes related to the baiting, including hunting a deer with a crossbow out of season. The charges are currently pending in the town of Mina court. His name was not released. And the 36-year-long tradition of the Mayville Winter Festival is making a comeback following a year off last year. However, one obstacle is threatening this year's ice castle: warming temperatures and rain. Our Julia Grass with more on what's to come this weekend and the effort now underway to preserve the ice.
The ice castle is iconic. It's associated with the festival. I've got, my sweatshirt here that shows a picture of it. And really, it's the centerpiece of the weekend.
As Mayville and Chautauqua Chamber of Commerce board member Brian Pender explains, highlights this year include the Ice Castle, Saturday night fireworks, a vintage snowmobile show, a kids tent, and food and wine vendors. The event draws 10,000 visitors yearly, which makes a great economic impact in the area. Pender credited all the volunteers, including Nick Andrasio, the supervisor for building the castle, for their hard work putting together an event that is fun and free for everyone. With the ice castle structure complete, Andrasio tells us he is in defensive mode now to try and preserve the structure amid rain and warm temperatures.
Snow from the inside and outside preserves the ice, and then you hopefully hope for the day of the event that you can take time to, kind of cut it out of the mold. And the ice actually, the snow acts as a cooler around the ice. So that's what we're looking to do on Friday. I call it Resurrection Friday.
The supervisor mentions he has a core of 10 adults and 25 to 30 BOCES kids each shift to help with the construction, which started last week.
We had some challenges this year because the lake was so low. We had a lot of muck we had to get through, and it took a couple days to get our first. We like to average 150 blocks a day. Our first day was 50, so as you could tell, it was a little challenge. But once we got over the hump there, We started averaging 150. I think we got close to 1,000 blocks out.
The protective layer of snow will be taken off before the event, which Andrasio says also cleans up the ice, making it shine.
36 years of this running, and it gets better every year. So we just encourage you to come out, spend some time here, enjoy the activities. Fireworks in February, who gets to do that? So I think it's going to be a great event.
Julia Gress, WNY News Now.
Oh, Julia, thank you. Let's hope they can keep that ice frozen. Well, New York's high school graduation rate rose slightly last year after the pandemic forced the cancellation of exams normally required for a diploma. State Education Commissioner says it was difficult to know how much of an impact canceling those stringent Regents exams had on the class of 2021. Students typically have to pass at least four of the exit exams in English, math, science, and social studies to graduate. But amid COVID-19 disruptions, the state said it was enough that students passed the courses. Without the end-of-year exam, students were assessed on a locally developed test, coursework, and projections. Officials say the Regents exams are scheduled to resume this school year. When we return, a full look at our weather forecast as Dakota is tracking heavy rain tonight that will eventually cause some icing issues for our area. Stay with us. WNY News Now. We'll be right back.
You're watching WNY News Now, your source for breaking news.
This winter, let New York State take your breath away. Come be a part of it. Plan your winter getaway at iloveny.com.
I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor.
Testicular cancer is the leading form of cancer in men aged 15 to 35.
1 in 250 men will be diagnosed with testicular cancer.
But 98% will survive if detected early.
As a survivor, I believe early detection is the key. Learn how to do a testicular self-exam and other important facts about testicular cancer at oneball4tc.com.
With coverage that matters, this is WNY News Now.
Fast, accurate, and everyday. First Defense Weather.
Welcome back, everybody. Wanted to give you a live look from the HD News Now cam, and we do have some rain showers out there for this noon hour. Right now, we're at 45. This is down from the high, which was 51 that occurred this morning. We're going to still see these temperatures drop a little bit, so the wind not an issue. Wanted to show you the rainfall total through the day. 0.22 inches is the 24-hour rainfall total, and we're going to see more rain as we go through the afternoon. So once again, this flood warning stays in place for Chautauqua and Cattaraugus counties until 1 a.m. on Friday, but everybody else, including Chautauqua and Cattaraugus counties as well, still under that flood watch until Friday as well. So the impacts here, it's really going to be snow melt and ice jam flooding. That's really going to be the two main concerns. We are going to add some rain on top of it, which again is going to cause even more runoff. And again, gusty winds, not really an issue here. The winds have really subsided from where they were yesterday. But we go a complete 180 by the time we go into tomorrow. We have a winter weather advisory that's going to kick in tonight, and then it's going to run all the way until 9 a.m. tomorrow morning for all of the region. And the advisory was issued because we're going to see some snowfall, but it's also going to with temperatures dropping tonight, we are going to see what's called a flash freeze. As temperatures drop below freezing, any of the standing water will likely freeze and cause some slippery travel conditions. We're starting to see the back edge of at least a little bit of a break in the rain coverage starting to come in now, but we are going to see some more rain developing through the afternoon hours. It's all ahead of this strong cold front that is parked just to the west, and this front's going to move through, and that is going to become the next big thing that we're going to keep an eye on. So So rain showers through the afternoon. Again, we will see some more scattered showers, but notice this pink line back here. That's going to be the next thing we have to watch. This is sleet and freezing rain. The timing on this looks like it'll be around 8, 9 o'clock. So for the afternoon commute, we should be good to go. But by the time we go into the nighttime hours, we will see this sleet and freezing rain transitioning over to snow showers through the nighttime hours. Then we'll see a few more snow showers by the time we go into Friday as well. So additional rainfall totals, we're likely looking at about an additional inch or so through tomorrow. That will cause excessive runoff, but then we've got the snow potential coming tonight and then through the day tomorrow. So I do think totals of around 2 to 5 inches seem likely by Saturday, but the main issue for tonight through tomorrow morning will be some slick travel conditions. So again, 20 tomorrow, 24 on Saturday. The sun returns Sunday, and then Justin, it just is an up-down battle here. We look like we go back into the 40s by the time we go into early next week. We'll take a break. Be right back.
With coverage that matters, this is WNY News Now.
How prepared is your family if a hurricane shows up at your doorstep, or a flood, or a blizzard? You can't just turn away a natural disaster. That's why it's important to go to ready.gov/plan now. It has the tools and tips you need to make an emergency plan with your family. So if disaster comes knocking,
let's go.
You'll be ready to help keep your family safe.
It's just a pizza.
Yes. Make a plan today.
It's not just what we say, it's what we do.
Local first. It isn't just our slogan. It's our mindset every single day. So whether you're watching our daily live streams or staying up to date with reports on our website and mobile app, you'll always see the same attention to detail from reporters who passionately care about our community, who have one goal in mind: to always put the facts first.
For me, it's more than just getting the forecast right. What I love the most about my job is that I come into work every day to help break down the weather, letting people know how this is going to impact their day. We take pride that First Defense Weather is the only local weather team in the Southern Tier. We don't just copy and paste our weather from outside sources. Every part of our forecast is handmade right here in-house, something our team really takes pride in.
What matters to you matters to us. Every story, every day. WNY News Now, where coverage comes first. You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
Welcome back to WNY News Now. An online art and entertainment show is taking place tonight from Washington, D.C. as part of an exhibit for the Smithsonian. Our correspondent Rachel Knapp with more.
Art, dance, music, and film. These mediums are used to highlight the cultural and linguistic diversity in the 7th annual Mother Tongue Film Festival.
To really focus on cinema made in or about Indigenous and minoritized languages. So it's not just world cinema and it's not just Indigenous cinema. It's really a place of intersection of both.
In this 2-week-long Smithsonian Film Festival, it will feature 36 films in 45 languages from regions across the world, from the Amazon to the Andes, and even right here in our native communities.
This really kind of provides a platform for people to listen to the languages as they are spoken in their places of origin, as they were perhaps spoken in the past or even being spoken in the future.
This year's theme is Through the Past is the Future, which will reflect on the legacies of their ancestors and the lessons used to build a more equitable future. The Smithsonian says this festival is important to our Native communities across the world because it shows how cinema works with their language.
There is something incredibly validating about hearing a story in your own language, and I think that that's really important for the Native film community, which has had to produce films in English for the audience to really kind of collapse the stereotypes and come in and absorb a story. But I think that Indigenous film has grown to a point where it can completely offer stories that are spoken in your own language, at your own rhythm, with your own music, and your own graphic or visual style.
In Washington, D.C., Rachel Knapp reporting.
What an incredible festival. Definitely got to check that out. As mentioned, it kicks off tonight, usually held in person, but because of COVID, the films will be online for free. Well, that's going to do it for us today. We'll leave you with this live look over Chautauqua Lake. News 24/7 at WNYNewsNow.com.